Thank you all for joining. Despite being a festival day, I see that quite a lot of people have joined, and I mean, after having understood the importance of this particular program, at IIA Madras, we have started this initiative of running an orientation program on a monthly basis. So we would be conducting an orientation program on each of the important things which, as part of IIA or as an aspirant, of CIA or other important courses offered by IIA Madras, you would be interested in. So there are quite a lot of things to handle. In fact, we'll do one by one. In this particular session, we'll be handling, an oversight. We'll be providing you an overview of the CIA course, which is the flagship course of IIA. Initially, the speaker would be introduced. Post that, Ms. Nikita, she would present. She's a manager with CNK. She will present the session. We'll also have a Q&A post her presentation. So this is the setup, and we will complete this program exactly at 8 o'clock. If at all we have any further questions, we can take it up offline. And another important thing is that we also have Dr. Paul Jayakar with us, who's a Bhishma Pitama. Most of us would have studied under him. Most of us would have heard him in various forums. So he's also available with us today. And if there is any specific question, he would also be. He will make sure that you get the right kind of inputs. So with this initial thoughts, I hand over the session to the moderator for introducing the speaker, Ms. Nikita.
Hello everyone, good evening. It's my pleasure to introduce my colleague Nikita Prakash to the audience today. So she's working with CNK & Associates for the last year. She's a manager for Governance, Risk and Compliance Division of CNK. So she has effectively handled internal financial controls, application reviews, process reviews, audit automation using tools like Power BI, R and Python. And she also effectively monitors and orients people on several courses of
So you're not able to hear you, Deepika. Jayashree, are you able to hear Deepika?
No, sir.
Okay, I think we have lost connection with her. That's fine. If Nikita is available and if she can take it up, probably you can introduce yourself and I can start the session, Nikita. Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So I've been counseling for CIA for quite a lot of students. So I have a pretty much idea of what will be the prerequisites and the different clarifications students would require before entering into the CIA course. We will also be discussing a little about the other courses which have been provided by the IIA in today's session. So I will just share my screen and we can go on to our PPT. So these are certain certifications and qualifications is being provided by the IIA. So the four major certifications are, the first one is the CIA, which is the Certified Internal Auditor. We will be seeing in detail of each of these courses in the future slides. The second is on CRMA, which is a certification in risk management and assurance. The third is on QIAL, which is the qualification in internal audit leadership. The last one, which we will be seeing in today's session, will be the internal audit practitioner. So we'll slightly go into details of each of these courses. So for any of these courses, the first step which we would require is to first apply into this IIA's website. Then there is certain checks which they would do, some due diligence which we will need to provide details for. Then we will go on to giving up our examinations or test. And then the final step would be becoming a certified internal auditor or any of the certified other courses. So for application, I've provided the link here as well. So once the PPT is circulated, you can check on that. So first you will have to create a profile with the IAA's certification candidate management system. So it's called the CCMS system. It's very easy. It will ask you some basic details like your qualification, details of your experience in the field of internal audit, a few details on your character reference. So that could be given either by your superior, who need not be an internal auditor, or it can be provided by any other person who's already possessing the qualification of a certified internal auditor. Then we would require some government issued photo IDs, that is your Aadhaar card or PAN card. And we'll also require to provide certain education related documents. So all of this can be scanned and loaded in. Character reference, I've already told, that is also through electronic. You will actually be able to send a mail to the person, and then the person or the required, let's say your supervisor or the CIA person, he would be able to electronically verify that particular detail. Post which you will get your intimation that your CCMS system has been updated. So for your test, you will have to register with one of the course, and the steps for that is also being provided. You will have to go to your managed program and you can register for the exam. Then once that's done, you will receive your certification on verification of your experience and your clearing up of your exam. So now we'll deep dive into the courses. So first, as certified internal auditor, the main agenda for the day. So for CIA, we have certain entry and exit eligibility requirement. By entry, what I mean, for you to enter and get yourself registered. Exit is to get your CIA behind your name. That is a certificate per se. Like how we get certificate of practice. To get CIA behind your name, you need to meet up certain exit eligibility requirements. So for this, we'll again require some documentation. So proof of your education, your character reference, and your identification. Identification can be any of the government identification. So the first step. So for the entry, there are some further things, details which you require. Either you must have a master's degree or equivalent, or a bachelor's degree or equivalent, or an active internal audit practitioner designation. So that should be, you should probably get it from the company you are working in and provide it. If it is going to be any other education, then it's going to be high school diploma or any other associate degree. For experience, we would require experience only at the point of, that is when you're going to get the certified internal auditor. For registering initially, you would not be required to submit your experience letter or your experience related information. But if you're doing anything other than these three, if you don't meet any of these three requisites, then you will have to at least show 5 years of internal audit experience or equivalent. So with regard to your internal audit experience, it can be quality assurance, it can be risk management, it can be compliance, it can be external audit or internal control. Any of these will meet up for that requirement. So once for your exit, you will have to complete all the three exams, and then you will have to also meet up the experience criteria. So if at all you have a master's degree, then you will need 1 year's experience. If you have a bachelor's degree, you will require 2 years of experience. And if you're already holding any designation in an company as an internal audit practitioner, then you will require 5 years of internal audit experience. So it's pretty much your entry and your exit requirements. That is your character reference, your ID, and your exams. With these three things, you can qualify. So here I've just provided a slightly detailed version of what we had seen in the tabular form. So these are the basic requirements just for you to go through. I have just attached this. With regard to character reference, I have put the high moral and professional character, and must submit a character reference signed by a CIA, CGAP, any of these qualifications, or he can be the candidate's supervisor. So this is important. I think the above requirements is easy to meet with. You will have the certificate or any document to provide for. For character reference, you will have to either send a mail to the authorized person for him to sign up for you. Proof of identification could also be passport or any national identity. And then comes your CIA exam. That is, you will have to complete all the 3 parts within the eligibility period. With regard to work experience, as explained, these are the different areas which will be eligible or which will be considered for you to get your certified internal auditor. So for supporting requirements, if you don't want to provide about your work experience or education qualification, you should either be an ACCA qualified member or a CPA. So if you have these 2 qualification or certification, you need not provide your work experience and education related documents because they already have an MOU with these 2 bodies. So that will be considered as your experience and your education qualification. So those 2 are on exempted. You can claim exemption if you don't want to submit those 2, but provided you will have to be a member of either of the one. Jumping next down into the syllabus. So CIA consists of 3 parts. First part will be your essentials of internal auditing. The second is practice of internal auditing. And the third is on business knowledge for internal auditing. So it gradually increases the portion size, and also the details which will be required to learn and understand will gradually increase part by part. So first part will consist of 125 questions. Spread over 2.5 hours. So during the Corona time, they were actually providing the protractor center at home itself. So you need not go to your nearby center and take up, but you can sit at home. You just need a camera. So you can take it up at home itself. So it's not necessary for you to go to the center and take up the exam. So these are some of the key points which you will be learning in the syllabus. So there are 6 different domains. For the first part, where you will be learning about what's internal auditing, basic concepts, ethics, code of conduct, quality assurance, risk and control. So all the basics of internal audit concepts will be covered. And also the IPPF, the entire framework which is set up by the Institute of Internal Auditor, will be covered in your first part. There will be 125 questions spread across 2.5 hours. The second part will go much more into detail on different kinds of engagement, what kind of results which will be communicated to your stakeholders, how is monitoring of progress done, and also your different performance standards which we will learn. So performance standards with regard to series 2000, 2200, and the current internal audit practices. The third part is on business knowledge for internal auditing, which will be on 4 domains. Including on your business acumen and more onto the IT side, because the earlier parts will not be touching on IT, majorly it will be on risk and control, but this will be on IT and business acumen, basically on your management, budgeting, all your financial ratios, accounting, everything put together. So, and also questions will be dealing on various kinds of industry. So this paper is a little challenging, but the marks and the amount which, time allocated will be pretty much similar for part 2 and part 3. So you will not be able to find out the previous year's question paper because that's not published or provided anywhere. But sample questions are provided by IIA and certain other approved material provider. So you will be able to find that, but you will not get the exact questions. And the evaluation of the exam is slightly different. So there's no proper scale stating this much you will have to get. It goes on percentile basis. So with regard to the difficulty of each of the question, but on a scale score average, it says 600 on 750 should be got. So 75% marks you will have to get for you to clear the exam. And in case you are not able to clear it, then there is a 90 days window which you will have to provide before taking up the same exam again. So you cannot take it up immediately. However, you can register for it immediately, but you will have to wait for a 90 days window before taking it up. So that's one which will, and there's no limitations on the number of attempts. The next is on the pricing. So pricing of the IIA India is slightly different from the global. So if you actually Google, you get the global pricing, but it's slightly discounted for us. So IIA India has a special pricing. So for your application fees is separate, irrespective of whichever part you're taking your application fee, you will have to pay. So you will have membership pricing separately and non-member. We'll come to what's the difference between membership and non-membership. These are the different amounts where for part 1, part 2, and part 3, you will have to pay these figures at the time of enrolling for the exam. You will have to pay these figures and you can enroll for the exam. And there's no specific date when the exam will be conducted. It's totally based on the candidate's wish or demand. So you can register based on the availability of the dates which is provided in the website. You can take it up. It's on demand. So for membership, there are certain advantages we can consider. So if you could see in the earlier slide as well, there is small discount which is provided for a member and a non-member. So it's better if you become a member. So you need not pass the exam to become a member. There is a small membership fees we will have to pay with our concerned chapter, and we can become a member of that particular chapter. But I would suggest if you become that, then you can also avail quite a lot of money. You can save quite a lot of money because you get some huge discounts after being a member. So along with your membership, you get some other additional things as well. So you will have access to the latest exam preparation resource, your networking opportunities, and some current CIA information and news. So if you log into your CCMS, you will get all these updates regularly on your exam preparation and networking opportunities and some webinars, etc. So with regard to the membership fees, it's just 4,000 per year in case you're an individual member. And if your institution is buying, then it's 20,000. And if you're a student, that is, if you're doing your undergraduation or your post-graduation, then you will have a small reduction in your tariff. So it's only 4,000 per annum. So, but by paying 4,000 per annum, you can get a discount in your pricing. So we next come into why should one do this, or why should one get certified by the IIA? So you get a global recognition. That is, IIA is considered to be one global body for your internal audit. It's also like a small certificate to enter into the world of internal audit or to do anything with regard to your risk or control or GRC, basically governance. You will also become much more proficient. And your credibility obviously increases. It's a prestigious certificate. So definitely it's slightly challenging, but definitely doable. And with regard to various surveys says that the CIA certification enables the members to slightly earn higher income because you get better opportunities with the certificate. That's about it. So, and a lot of people get certified to also start their journey. So obviously the pay will be higher if you're already certified. The job opportunities are also pretty much widened because organizations are always into seeing what's the new value addition auditors are bringing. So definitely internal auditor auditing the course as such will definitely bring in a lot of job opportunities. If you can also see the labor impact analysis, which was done in the 2020 also, they were stating that the internal audit definitely has a lot more scope. And obviously your GRC expertise. For somebody who's already working as well in the field of internal audit, they can consider taking up the course and getting yourself certified because it also shows that even in spite of having the knowledge, it also shows that you know much more and you're having a badge for your knowledge. So the next course is on CRMA. So CRMA is more on the risk management assurance, and the requisites or the prerequisites for registering is slightly different from CIA. CIA would be slightly a beginner level because the details asked is not very high. But for CRMA, you'll require much more criteria to fulfill to get your certificate. Before moving to CRMA, I want to know if there are any questions which are Okay. There's no question. So I'll just go ahead. So for CRMA, we have, you have to obviously pass the CRMA exam. The work experience is asking is 5 years in the field of internal audit or risk management experience. So for CIA, it's slightly lower. If you're already an undergraduate or a postgraduate, you will only have to provide 1 to 2 years of experience. But for CRMA, it's 5 years of experience, and you will also require your CP to be 20 hours. So this is one area which will be slightly concerned to me. The second part is it's only one exam. So the fees is also slightly higher. So again, if you're a member, you will obviously get a small reduction in the tariff. And students who are enrolling for and taking up this exam have to fulfill all the criteria 2 years from the date of you taking up the exam. So that is also one place which we will have to check. Otherwise, it gets rejected and you will have to take up the exam again and then fulfill the other criteria. The third course is on qualification in internal audit leadership. So this is slightly different. This is a top level course in the which is IAA is providing. So here there is a lot more with regard to code of ethics, confidentiality, and you will have to get or meet all the conditions which the IAS Professional Certification Board is requiring. The requirements are pretty much similar in terms of registration, that is your proof of education, character reference, experience, and your identification. But for getting the qualification, you will already have to be a CIA in case you're aspiring on new. And experience criteria is 5 years in the field of internal audit or related area. If you're a new leader, then you will have to have 10 years in general management, and you have to be working as an audit executive. So that is us. And if you're not a new leader, then 15 years of general management, and you will have to be working as an audit executive. So there are 2 ways to take it up. If you're a new person, then it's program pathway 1. But if you're already an experienced person who would want to take it up, then again you will have to post CIA. If you're having CIA, it's again 10 years general management, including 3 years as an audit executive. In the last 5 years, you will have to be an audit executive for 3 years. In case you don't have a CIA, then it's 15 years of general management, including 3 years as an audit executive. For experienced instructor, again, it's 10 years experience as a senior practitioner in an internal audit or engaged in postgraduate academic research, or 15 years of experience as an instructor of senior practitioners in internal auditing. So the requirements for this particular thing is slightly different. The exam setup is also slightly different because here you will have to complete 3 case studies and you will have to make a presentation to the panel. So IA has a panel, you will have to make a presentation. Also, you will be having a interview which you will have to take up with IA. So this is if you're aspiring or new. If you already have a lot of experience, you will have to submit a portfolio of professional experience. And again, you will have to make a presentation and have a panel interview. Except for the case studies, you will have to submit your portfolio. That's the only difference between program pathway 1 and program pathway 2. So based on their assessment and somebody meeting that particular criteria, you will get the qualification. The pricing also will be different. So for the application fees, again, you will have to pay. And for each of the case study, you will have to pay for $50 in case you are a member. And for the presentation, it's around $950. And for you to take up the interview with the panelists, it will be $1,450. So this is the pricing for your QIAL. It's more on to being a leadership group. This is for a complete internal audit practitioners, for a complete beginner. Basically, the CIA Part 1's syllabus criteria to meet is pretty much the same. You will have to have your entry requirements is very much similar to that of your CIA. You will have to have ID, government ID. You will have to have the character reference being provided. You will also need to meet the experience criteria, but you will just have one exam for this. And this will be similar to your part 1. Also, if you see international standards for professionals, so your IPPF will be there, and certain parts of the ethics and risk related questions will be asked. So they will have, the candidate who's appearing for this have to have only 2 years to complete this program. From that day, it will be approved. So I come to the end of basic CIA, that is the traditional module. Recently, a new module for CIA was also introduced, which is the CIA Challenge exam. Yeah, I will cover about CIA Challenge. What's the pass percentage in India for CIA? On an average, 50%, sir. For different parts, the percentage is different. For CIA, is there any exemption, for example, the candidate has any other professional accounting? Yes, sir. I'm coming to CIA Challenge, where there are some exemptions and the setup is completely different. I will explain on that. So I move to CIA Challenge. So the CIA Challenge was recently introduced, almost a year since it has been introduced in India, and the requirements and the qualification required is slightly different from that of our traditional approach. So traditional approach, you will either need to have a UG or a PG to start with. But for the CIA Challenge exam, there are certain other things which we will have to check on. So here for Indian CAs, basically, since most of us are Indian CAs, this will be considered, but there are certain other bodies as well. So we'll go into this. So IAA Global is providing this opportunity for active members of the ICAI, which is the Indian CAs, Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, to take up the CIA Challenge exam in one sitting. So the entire 3 parts are being combined into one exam. Instead of taking 3 exams, we'll just be taking 1 exam. And obviously at a small reduction in the price as well. And it's much faster and convenient in the sense you will not have to prepare 3 times and take up 3 different exams, whereas it's just 1 exam that you will have to take up. So the exam is called the CIA Challenge exam. The fees as well is being provided for non-members and members. And if you're planning, if you couldn't clear it and you will want to retake the exam, then the fees is slightly lower compared to the if you're taking it for the first time. So the fees will include your application fee, your CIA Challenge exam registration fee, and your exam preparation package. In case of your CIA Traditional, there's a very small part of the preparatory notes which are given. You can enroll for the learning the CIA, and they also provide material, or you can go for Glint. There are different people who provide material. But here with your CIA Challenge exam, they are giving you your application fee, your CIA Challenge fee, everything is covered, and your exam preparation package. The only difference between your CIA Challenge and CIA is one, it has become one exam. The second difference is that the financial part, which a chartered accountant already is expected to know or already knows, will not be included. So with regard to your financial ratios, accounting, etc. So that's the part which has been removed. Other than that, all the other parts have been included and it's made as one paper. So some common FAQs. So who is eligible to take? Candidates who are active members of one of the qualified accounting bodies are eligible. Former members of students are not eligible. So if you're already into the traditional approach and you will want to come here, you will definitely need to be an active member of any of the qualified accounting body provided below. So if you're a member, no, you are not considered. Or if you're not renewed your membership and you're not a current member, again, this will not be applicable, or you will not be eligible for it. So which are the 13 qualified accounting bodies? The first one is your ACCA, that is the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Then also your Chartered Accountants Australia and New Zealand, Canada, Australia, Hong Kong, India has also been there. So any Indian CAs can take this up. Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales, Scotland, Singapore, Philippines, then you have the Saudi, you have South Africa. All of these bodies are considered. So if you're part of any of these bodies, then you can take up the CIA challenge exam, which is just that one paper which you will need to clear. So ID and registration, very much similar. Any one valid government issued ID will be required. You will have to have it at the time of taking up your exam, Aadhaar or passport, driver's license, any of this will be agreed. So exam will be presented at the original. Most states, they have a timeline which they provide, not like CIA traditional. Actually, beginning when they started, they had a certain window on which the exam should be taken. And how to register? Registration links have provided here for your registration. You can just click and register. Pretty much similar. You will again have to go into your CCMS and you will have to register for this. If you're a chartered accountant and you're already into the traditional method, you can switch from the traditional method to your challenge. But for challenge exam, it's there, just because you're switching from traditional method, there is no reduction in tariff or anything. I think I've gone with the benefits. So here you can see who should contact, whom we should contact. So in case of any queries, you have different chapters. I've also provided the mobile numbers of the different chapters whom you can contact in case of any clarification required. So they're readily available. Apart from this, IAA also has a tie-up with the bank. You can also take up that. I'll just share my screen for that. I will just show the details. Okay, so Bank of Baroda has a tie-up. So you can take a loan stating you're studying with the Institute of Internal Auditors, and up to 1.5 lakhs you'll get loan amount. So within 4 years it has to be paid, and your age criteria, CIBIL score, all of that will be considered. So they already have a tie-up with that. So anybody who feels that at the moment they're not able to afford, they can go for a loan option as well. Sorry, somebody has asked some question. Yeah. For CIA, is there any exemption? I think I answered that question. Any online classes has been provided by IAA. By IAA's boarding is the learn the CIA is there. But officially there's nothing as of now. There are different institutes who are providing classes also, which you can take up. I think based on the online classes, I think Paul sir would answer post this. When will the next CIA challenge exam be conducted? So the CIA challenge, actually you should check the website on when the windows are. Last August till that they had conducted. I will check on the next window for your CIA challenge exam. Any intimation on this will come to your CCMS, sir. What should be the approach for preparing for the CIA challenge exam? So firstly, you will have to prepare for the entire syllabus, since it's slightly higher than the CIA, because the entire portions is being combined and made into one whole part. I would suggest to do a lot of practice questions because that helps a lot. It also helps you to speed up, because time is one issue where a lot of people tend to lose their marks in. So if you can go up with doing a lot more of questions, I think you can definitely do it. Practice of questions, basically. Sorry, next is there a minimum? What study material needs to be used for CIA challenge exam? So study material, IA itself is providing, sir. If you, the moment you register and you pay your fees, IA itself is providing study material. However, if you need any additional material, there are other additional bodies. I mean, not bodies, like providers who give you like Gleam, Learn This, CIA. There are bodies who can also provide with the material, but IA's material is provided. What is the difference between member and non-member? So member and a non-member, I will share my screen properly again so that I can explain that. So member is somebody who has already registered, so they need not clear the exam to become a member. There's a small membership fees you will have to pay. So this is the membership fees. Yeah. So in most cases, the advantage is that you will have to pay the small membership fees in order to avail a discount in your exam fee. So it's around 4,000 in case you are a professional student. You will have obviously reduction in tariff, and along with the tariff reduction, you will also get the latest exam preparatory resource, certain other new webinars which they're posting, networking opportunities, some current CIA news and information which is around. So all of that are additional benefits of becoming a member. You need not complete the exam to become a member. There's no requisite for that. You will just have to pay this money and you can register yourself as a member. However, you cannot call yourself a CIA, just a member of the body. I hope your answer or your question is answered. Where can we get the practice question bank? Practice question bank, you can get it from Gleam. Gleam is providing practice question bank. IA as well is providing. If sir has joined, I think Paul sir can maybe brief about the exam related questions on how should they clear and who else provides for the material. Paul sir?
Dr. Paul, are you available?
I'll just try to contact him, sir.
Right. So meanwhile, if the participants have any questions, either to Ms. Nikita or to Dr. Paul, you can post that in the chat box. Thank you.
Sir, you're not audible, sir, Paul, sir. I think he's trying to speak. Yeah, sir, you're audible, sir. Yeah. Hello.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Just to add to what Nikita has been telling us, some of the questions. One is on the membership. Apart from the discount in fees for the exam, members also get access to the IAA Global and the IAA India website. The IAA Global website, there is some material which may be useful to internal auditors. Different types of material are there. So some are paid. Again, members get discount, but many of them are free. So one of the advantages of the membership is you have access to world quality material from the Institute of Internal Auditors Global. You can download those. The other advantage of membership is many chapters have a monthly meeting. It's called a PDM. It's a professional development program. So they have a monthly meeting where they would call a good speaker, and you can gain knowledge from that also. There are various, each chapter has different activities. Of course, the conferences and seminars are open to all, but PDMs, you will also get your CPE credits if you are a qualified CIA. That includes the ethics credit which you require. There was another question on material. The IAA Global has material. They have some recorded lectures also. You can get material from many private coaching centers, and they do it state-wise, city-wise, here, private centers. You can also get material from publishers. There are a number of publishers who publish material and question banks for this exam. So that way you have sufficient reading material. Then I think there was a question on the challenge exam. So far we have had 2 windows for the challenge exam. Now, challenge exam is like a limited period offer. It's only for a short while. And once you register, you have to take your first attempt within a certain time. They'll specify the time also. So as of now, both the windows are closed. Candidates registered in those 2 windows are writing their exams now. But since India has a fairly decent number of people joining for the CIA compared to the global number, they may open another window sometime early next year. It's another 2-3 months from now. So we have to wait for the window, but you can start preparing. When the window opens, you register, And then, of course, you take the one sitting exam where you can, if you clear, you'll get the CAA qualification. The other thing is about when you write this in parts or groups or whatever, the parts, they call it part 1, part 2, part 3, then your window is a little longer. You can take one part at a time. Fee-wise, you probably be coming to the same thing or a little more. But if you wait till May, month of May, every year, month of May is designated as a advocacy month. In that month, you will get a discount. So about 25% every year they've been giving 25%. So if you register in, you're a normal candidate, not the challenge candidate. You're a normal candidate. You register in May, you will get 25% off from whatever rates you find on the website. And that is a regular registration. You can take your 4 years to complete the exam and so on. Now, IAA is recognized globally. See, the only 3 countries where we have some issues are India, Sri Lanka, and Pakistan, because they have acts of parliament which set up some bodies like the Chartered Accountant Institute and so on. But all other countries, they recognize IAA as a valid certification. So those of you who are probably looking at internal audit as, in fact, the Gulf, Malaysia, Singapore, Africa, it is widely recognized. So those of you who are looking at internal audit, particularly in the newer wave, where emphasis on risk management and ESG and GRC and so on are increasing, you will find these exams helpful because it puts you in touch with the latest school of thought. I mean, how do we go about doing these audits? And it also, of course, we may not become experts, but it exposes us to a lot of standards. IPPF is one of them. If you go deeper, then you'll be looking at COSO. If you're a ISACA person, or even if you're not a qualified CISA, you can still use COBIT with your COSO for your internal audit. IAA and ISACA and also the ACCA, they have global level affiliations. So the contents are shareable, and also the CPE, which you get in a ISACA meeting or a IS Square meeting or in a ACCA meeting, is valid for your IAS CPE. So they've given you a lot of concessions because they have a global affiliation. If there are any other questions, I will answer them.
Sir, also on any online classes for CIA which is being provided. Audible?
There are a number of private institutes which offer online coaching. IAA Global also has video lectures, online coaching. Or if you just want to supplement a few chapters or a few areas, you can also look at YouTube. I think Udemy or one of them has also hosted an online course. So online coaching is available both from Indian companies and global companies and from IAA also. So they are available. You can definitely find them and use them.
Also,
Is there
are
any
there
other?
link for the practice question bank?
See, practice questions, see, the issue is like this. None of these online exam people will release the questions because they reuse them. But what they do is when the syllabus changes or when they have accumulated enough new questions, the older questions are called retired questions. You don't have to, I mean, they may not appear in the exam, but they're called retired questions. Now, for a student, a retired question and an active question is the same. It's basically audit theory, common body of knowledge. Those things don't change. So they are the same. Only thing is probably they're asking you a newer standard, like say some IPPF standard question or a ethics question, or if you're in the second part, maybe a better way of doing an audit, or if you're in the third part, an information technology related way of doing things. But otherwise, you're perfectly okay with the old questions. You'll only have a change in the language. There won't be much change in the theory. As you know, standard numbers are not to be asked in the exam, or they will not be asked. There's nothing there. It's all theory, plain theory. And auditing theory doesn't change regularly, but content is updated, which means you will have new content added. Now, for the new content, there will be some other course somewhere where the content is already there. You can look at those questions. So a little bit of research is required, but you can make it. It's not impossible. You'll be able to do it. For instance, in the IAA portion, you have a reference to COBIT 5. COBIT 5 is already it's a part of the ISACA's content for their courses. So you will get the questions from there. Similar questions will be there. Almost the paper setters are almost the same. Questions are interchangeable. So I don't see great difficulty in getting questions. The problem is, if you, particularly for Indian students, if you start applying your practical knowledge, which you use in your organizations, or if you're practicing accountant, practicing person, you're using it, whatever knowledge you picked up, that will not be useful for the exam. Why I'm emphasizing this is an American exam. It's actually a North American exam. Then it's rolled out to Europe and mostly for Africa and some parts of Southern America and so on. Mainly it's North America and Europe. Now their system is completely different. Now we cannot use those, we don't use those audit techniques at all. So our audit techniques are different, and we should not even look at those, apply our practical knowledge for the exam. You have to stay with the theoretical. For us it's theoretical, but for them it's practical. The North America and Europe, you have to stay with their way of thinking, because every time somebody has to teach, we always have this problem. So say bribery, for instance, kickbacks, corruption. Now you're working in an organization or you're working somewhere and somebody provides you lunch. That's not a bribe, it's hospitality. That is from our culture. But in the US and Europe, if you're an auditor and you are just supposed to eat at a diner or something like a standard restaurant, they take you to a fancy restaurant, they think it's a bribe. So those who are preparing for the exam, particularly those who are not exposed to the MNC culture, SOX, GLBA, HIPAA, those kind of things, you have to stay with the exam, treat it as a theoretical exam, study hard, stay with the exam answers, and then you're through. Because I do have students always posting why this answer is right, why that answer is wrong. Because for us, the risk perception is completely different. See, for us, a reputation risk, or those kind of, for instance, we have in our Madras there's floods, or Tamil Nadu there's floods. Nobody's reputation got spoiled. Do you think the police or the ministers are there ashamed of themselves? No, they are not. So we don't treat it seriously. But in other countries, that's a major issue, reputation risk and so on. So we need to study for the exam, which is completely American, North American oriented. So this part, don't forget. If the answer looks wrong, please ask the teachers or check it out with your colleagues. Understand why the answer is right. And as Nikita already told you, you must get a speed of 1 minute per question, 1 minute or less. If you start thinking in the exam hall, it's going to be a disaster. You must answer all questions. There is no negative marking. All your questions will be answered. They'll be marked. You get a 0, that's fine. No negative mark. So answer all the questions. Answer what you know first, then review the ones you did not know. By intuition, you will get it. Work out at least 1,000 questions minimum, so that you are comfortable with the thought process. Don't spend time thinking in the exam, during the exam. So are there any other questions?
I think somebody has asked, if I register in May, when can I write the exam? The window is actually 1 year.
Yeah, if you're a regular student, it doesn't matter. The May month is only for the discount. You can register anytime, but then you have to pay full fees. And India fees are lower. particularly if you have any people from the Gulf or Malaysia, Singapore attending this, for the challenge also, you are allowed to take the Indian fees, provided you are an IIA India member. But if you are not an IIA India member, you are a global member or the Middle East or Far East, then you are not eligible. But if you are an IIA India member and your occupation takes you outside India, you are still eligible for the concession. That was clarified, and you can, a lot of Gulf members are using it.
Right.
You can register yourself anytime, but you can set up the date of the exam 180 days from the date you have registered. Otherwise, it gets expired. So if you register
No,
in May,
this for the regular people.
yeah, regular traditional CIA, yeah, not the challenge.
So, yeah, challenge, they tell you when to register and when to take your first attempt.
Good. Excellent, sir. I mean, your clarifications are really helpful, and the participants should have been hugely benefited with the kind of explanations you gave. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
So, Jayashree, Deepika, can you please take over if the session is over? Jayashree, can you please take over?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. So thank you, each one of you. Hope this has been a good session for all of you all to understand about CIA and about all the courses that the Institute of Internal Auditors are offering. And thank you, Paul sir, and thank you, Nikita, for answering all the questions and taking through the session. And I mean, in case you all of you all have any other questions, please do email it to us, and we will respond back to you. And thank you very much for all of you all to have joined the session once again. Thank you, Paul sir. Thanks, Nikita.
Thank you all. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Manian sir.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Nikita. Excellent
Thank you.
presentation.
Thank you. I think.
Yes, thank you, Nikita.
Thank you.
Sorry, Nikita.
I think there's one question, ma'am, or probably we can take it up.
Yeah, you can
and
finish
now-
that question.
Yeah,
No,
Yeah,
we'll
I
complete
think-
the question.
I
yeah,
think
we
there
have
has
5
some.
more minutes. We can.
Yeah, okay. I think somebody's asking their PAN name and their Aadhaar name doesn't match. Will they have an issue at the time of their exam center?
No, they can use one government ID. Any one, whatever ID they use, exam center produce the same ID.
You wouldn't have an issue, sir. So either PAN or Aadhaar, anyone you can use. And what's the validity of the registration and how many?
Passport or driving license.
Yeah. The next question is, what is the validity of the registration and how many attempts can be written? Is the next question that Arun has asked.
Challenge or regular? If it is challenge, once you register, they give you a first exam you have to do within a certain last date. And then you
Regular
get
is-
one more window, which is slightly further away. But regular, there's no problem. Any number of attempts. But one problem is each attempt you will have to pay fees. The fees is all in dollars. So I always suggest to prepare well and clear it in the first attempt.
First shot, that's true. There's one other question from where we have, do I face any problem at the exam center?
That's with
No, the
regard to
exam-
the Aadhaar identification. You will not
Yeah,
face, sir,
that's-
if it
Use no, whatever they use for registration, let them produce the same thing at the Prometric Center.
Right. I think the
Like a
same
railway
person has
ticket, you
also
know.
asked. Yeah, the same person has also asked surname and main name is interchanged. Again, if it is going to be one single document, as Paul sir had addressed, one single document is going to be used across, I don't think you would face this kind of a problem. So probably you can use one registration where one government ID, which matches your name, so that across all the exams it will be helpful for you.
One problem here is whatever name is officially given, that will appear on the pass certificate.
Correct.
So